Alright, so the first podcast with Ryan Hardy was a real hit. Everyone loved it. And the punters want more. I'm just driving very slowly at Williamtown Airport en route to pick up the man himself to take him to Foster Tuncurry for a coaching clinic because he's the man. And Coach Hardballs is the guy that every bodybuilder wants to get the tips from. So let's find him. I think I've spotted him. He's sitting patiently here on the arrivals. He's got a large board bag. Don't know where it's going to fit, but we'll do our best. What's this guy doing? What you doing, champ? There he is. We've made contact. All right. It's so full of crap. So yeah, we just got to figure out a way to stack it all in. What you got there? Just lay it straight across. I reckon we'll. Oh, there's only one board, is there? Oh, sweet. Shovel, yeah. Stuff around. I saw Garth. Oh, it's Garth here? Yep. Oh, are you kidding me? He was kind of sick. What's he doing? Yeah, that's right. Oh, cool. Yeah, mate, getting the passenger side. We're good to go.
Yeah, bud.
You.
Oh, you're a legend. Get you down here.
No worries.
Okay, let's do this.
No worries. So what, Garth has already left, or?
Yeah, he left about 10 minutes ago.
Oh, okay, damn. I'm going to try and get a podcast done with him.
Oh, okay.
Hey, you got everything you need?
Yep. Yeah, that'd be classic, wouldn't it? Let's get some water.
Yeah, mate. I didn't tell you this, but we're doing another podcast.
Oh, yes.
Right now. The response was too great to the first one, so I figured if we're gonna drive for an hour or so with Hardballs back to Foster, we got to have a little shower.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, but so what? You were just talking to Garth. We're talking about Garth McGregor here. He's just
Newcastle legend.
I just actually interviewed another Newcastle legend, Johnny Crookshank.
Oh,
just come from a Crookshank interview.
Yep.
It was a really good time.
You are on fire today, aren't you?
Mate, don't stop. Don't stop.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
But Garth is high on the list for me, as I was just saying. And what, Kingy's down here because he just had another bub?
Yeah, yep. He just had his little girl to his new wife, second wife.
Sweet.
And just a couple of complications. So there.
Yeah, I heard a bit of water on the lungs or something like that.
Yeah. So I sent my best wishes with Garth off to a hospital.
Okay, cool.
King and the family.
Oh, GMAC.
Good. Yeah.
Imagine getting like best wishes delivered by GMAC to someone else. Like imagine like a Christmas card or something like that as well. Merry Christmas.
He's got a very big cuddly hug on him.
Exactly. Exactly.
He'd be
legend.
Good vibes in the hospital. Yeah.
Speaking of him, because he is a bit of a character in the Australian scene. You had a few trips with him back in the good old days, didn't you?
Yeah, plenty.
Yeah.
Tahiti, some comp trips.
Yeah.
We went to Tahiti a few times together.
A few strike missions with Stews, I assume?
Yeah, a few strike missions with Ian Stewart filming the old Safidum videos.
Yeah, sick.
Yeah.
Was that but that wasn't the trip that's the big one where you kind of got your big like waves that year. Safidum 3. No. This is like Safidum 2, and there was like a few other reef passes were maybe involved.
Yeah.
Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah. We actually had the chance one year where I'm pretty sure it was the first session where travelling bodyboarders had scored it massive and slabbing. And Toby and Tamaga were the only ones out, so it's this legendary undocumented session.
Right.
And it was a giant swell, and we were actually on the road to Chopes, and just by freak accident, this local lady that was riding on the side of the road just pulled out in front of us, and we locked up and hit her and had to go to hospital, and because we thought, and she was kind of passing out and rolling around on the ground, so we didn't know how badly hurt she was.
Yeah, right. So you ended up in
we
Tahitian hospital for the day.
The afternoon in hospital.
Wow.
While Tobes and Tamaga were rushing like 10 to 12 foot bombs.
That must have been
that's
a weird
another story.
That is
from Toby
I'll have to get that one
Tamaga.
from Toby or Tamaga.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure this was 98.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that was the first session where travelling bodyboarders, I don't know if even the local bodyboarders had surfed it, like proper big slamming chopes at that stage.
Like the real gnarly chopes.
Yeah. It's like pretty west, 10 to 12 foot thick, big period. And Toes, I said that I'll leave that story for another interview.
Was the lady okay that got hit?
Yeah, she just had a big black eye, road rash down her face, a bit of concussion.
Tough times.
Yeah, and but it all ended up all right. And we actually surfed chopes the next morning, but it was only like 6 to 8 foot.
Right.
And pretty nice.
Only.
But it was kind of that trip. I think Ben Holland had been there with Ian Stewart maybe the year before and scored it pretty big.
Had
and Ian knew
that
me and Garth and Adam Keegan that did the trip with him. He knew we were all up for it.
Yeah, sure.
At that stage, but fate thought otherwise.
Yeah.
And it didn't make it to the end of the road that day. So it wasn't until the next year in '99.
Yeah.
That I scored it really big
with Ben Holland.
Ben Holland. Yeah. That was awesome.
Let's linger on Stews for a bit because I really want to get an interview with him and he's kind of a bit hard to pin down, but for a real long period there, he was a bit of a almost like a gladiator coach.
Yeah.
He was that, wasn't he?
Yeah. He was just from that era where it was like no pussyfooting around.
Exactly.
It was like, all right, these young kids are up for it. I'm going to yell at them to charge these waves.
You were pretty nice with pussyfooting. Like that's the nicest way you can say how he used to talk to us.
What would you say? What his approach was like?
He was full on. Like he was full on. But like I think it's what you needed if you were going to go and surf those waves. Like I don't think it was bad to have a guy yelling and intimidating you a little bit to, put the pressure on and just say, listen, are you for real or not? Do you really want this or you don't?
Fucking tea party.
Exactly, that was what he used to say. Not here to have a fucking tea party, mate. Yeah, so it's like, it's just an interesting character because he was so freaking intense. And I doubt he's changed. Hopefully I'll get to catch up with him and find out if he's mellowed out a bit. But there was some pretty intense moments. So taking it back to that Tahiti session where you finally kind of scored it big with Ben Holland.
Yeah.
What was Stews like in that session? Was he screaming, yelling, carrying on? What was the deal?
He was very focused, I remember, because there was no one there. It was literally me and Ben in the lineup for most of the morning. Funny story that Kingy and
that's what I was about to bring up. They were actually
there, but it was a little bit messy in the morning. So far out from the land to see that they kind of figured it wasn't that good.
Yeah,
but it was actually just a little bit lumpy, but pumping and big.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it was just me and Ben out there. And once you're out in the ocean and it's big and wild and raw, that really neutralises everyone. Everyone becomes focused and looks out for each other. And,
totally.
You're there to survive, but also have a good time. But it's not like there was no okay, we're not here to have a fucking tea party.
Exactly.
That. It was like, all right, we're here. Like this is what he brought. Ian had taken me to Tahiti. That was the third year I'd gone with him.
Yeah.
So we'd been basically in training to score chopes and ride chopes, and for him to shoot chopes. And we'd seen this swell coming on the forecast, so it was like, all right, we're here. The gladiator zone.
Yeah.
I was focused. He was focused. Ben was he was familiar with big chopes, and so for me he was a bit of a marker on the lineup, and almost like a confidant, like having someone that knew what was going on, but it felt like I sort of wanted it more that day. I'd grown up with heavy waves and margs. I knew that was where I was at, and I'd been watching chopes for a few years since the Gotcha surfing contest that Kobe Abbott won there.
The classic. There's a Corey Lopez image, I think, as well from that. If it's the same thing, the O'Neill ad, and it's just like this.
That's another one. But
that's another one.
West.
The full West Pole. I just remember being mesmerised by that, going is that really what this is?
When it's sunny and west, and it just looks like a monster. So it was just like game on that day. Like we were still focused, and so Stews wasn't really that out there as far as vocally going nuts as he usually would. He was just focused and making like I remember after one of my last waves, which was a really big free fall, and I landed nice but just got chewed up by the barrel. Yeah. And I got pretty held down for a pretty long time. And I came up and went to the boat, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, you're right. You okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think so." Oh, actually, no, my rail's come off, and my inside rail of my board
had actually
ripped off, and I caught one more shoulder after that because I was like, "Oh, I don't know about this." And like the rail was just catching like the raw foam, and the sharp edges was catching so bad, on the water that, and then a few people started coming out by that stage, and I'd kind of already had. A good hour and a half, and had really gone hard at it. So I sort of just retired with the excuse that my rail wasn't intact.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. But that was a.
I think there's a thing about Stews, and in my experience with him, which was I had quite a few trips with him, and a few to Tahiti, a few over WA, and then hanging out on the Central Coast, and he's an intense dude. I can imagine when he asked you if you're okay, it would have been with that intense, like, "Are you okay, mate?" Like a deep concern, like to match his deep aggression. Deep enthusiasm as well that he always had. So, no, I can just totally imagine that moment. Like he did care, but I guess he wanted to always push people as far as their limits could take them, but he was ready to kind of act and to support. And I think there's that one of the memories from one of our trips. I think it was we went to Sumatra that time for the Secret Sumatra stuff, and before it was set up like that. And remember that massive left that we surfed? Like we took a little boat out to that island or something, and it was just like none of us were really thinking that's what we're going to do on this trip. Like, and I think like it was big, right? I mean, my memory says it was like 6 to 10 feet or something like that. Like it was solid. It was kind of like a Teahupoo style wave. Like I remember seeing the one that Fergo got, and I was like, "Oh my god, what is going on here?" And I mean, Stews once again, and I think Toby was even taking photos that day as well. Like they were hooting and hollering, but like I think everybody realised pretty quickly that day too, because you got pretty sliced up. On what your one wave, right? You got. I
had a couple, but that was my last one because I just caught inside and flogged after that.
You got caught inside, And like I remember, I only got one, and I was just like racing this barrel that was just never ending and scary as hell, and just getting pressed into the reef and just like going, "Oh, I'm not playing this game today." Like I'm out.
Did you just get one and you were out?
Just got one and done. Yeah. One and done. I think you got a bigger one, and Fergo got the real bomb.
Yeah, that was the first wave that was
That
caught,
was the first wave,
and
wasn't it?
he got away with it, so it was kind of like, this wave's sick.
Everyone was frothing,
making the bombs, exactly. He can get out without any trouble.
Exactly.
And then next minute, I'm nose diving into the reef trying to duck dive under 8 to 10 closeouts.
Exactly,
Thinking, what the hell, I'm about to die.
I actually think I was on the wave that you were trying to duck dive, because I popped up and you were there, because I got pressed through, and I remember really clearly my wipeout was pretty intense, because I went... Like I kind of got rolled like over the falls inside the barrel, and then I ended up kind of bouncing once on water, and then the second time kind of feet first, and I remember my foot went deep like inside the coral, like a little hole, or like in between some coral heads, and I could feel it brush either like my leg, like my flipper kind of punched through and then came straight back out. Like, so it's kind of like the thing, like I felt like if the wave had pushed me forward, it was like total broken leg, like that's just snapping in its spot, but it kind of let me pop back out and then keep going and just get flogged.
I just remember the waves I was looking at, it was just like big walled up things coming out of such deep water, so I could imagine you were getting flogged.
Oh man, it was crazy, and then you just sliced to bits.
I remember being really rattled. Do you remember me getting on the boat?
I do. You were like really rattled, and I think you were like I think you said something like when you nosedived, you just started to yell.
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah,
you just went, "Ah!"
It was the only like real panic moment of my whole surfing life. Where I was like,
that moment, you think?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I'd never had something so hectic happen, even when as a grom.
Wow.
Where I'm actually like without even thinking about it, I'm just like screaming out.
Yeah.
I think it was like a fly.
Wow.
Maybe it was like a bit of a panic cry to the boat to
Yeah.
let us know I was there. 'Cause
I
I
hear you
honestly
getting
thought,
smashed.
I did honestly think I could die right there because the first one, I was shocked. It was like, all right, bang, just nosedived into the reef, and this the lips landing 2 meters in front of me that's 8 foot thick. And that one just obliterated me, and somehow I got away with it. But then the next one, I could feel the reef draining out even more, and this thing had back to it, like a flat back, fully foamy, thick, evil monster.
Right.
And that was one, as it approached, and I'm like, okay, I can't go anywhere here. And I'm pretty sure that was where I went, fuck! But it was a lot higher pitched and panic-stricken than that. And like, yeah, sideways duck dive, just waiting for the truck to hit me. And then it was just like, okay, what's going to happen here?
What'd you say? You just got rolled.
I was just hitting the bottom like maybe 4 or 5 times, but kind of just going sideways.
And it's 8 foot. It's all of 8 feet that broke in front of you.
Thick back, thick, like it's kind of almost double up.
I didn't realise it was that bad. I didn't know that was a full-on, like, one of the scariest moments of your life right there. I don't think we all fully appreciate
like
it.
If I'd had kids at that stage, I definitely would have had like images of my kids going through my mind.
Oh, shit.
Or like full-on, this could be the end. Like,
wow.
Who am I leaving behind?
Who am I leaving behind?
Yeah.
Who was I meant to say goodbye to?
So, yeah, I'm not that keen to get back out to that one.
No, neither. Like, I remember we came in, and like even Kingy was just like, because this was on his pathway to I think it was on his pathway to the first world title.
It was 05, so it might have been
second then.
Second,
yeah, it must have been that. Yeah. So he was just like, so he's on his way to his second. He was like, I didn't come here for this, like, because we're on our way to Sintra. Like, we're going to Sintra next, right? We all stopped in Indo on the way to Portugal to do the Sintra comp, which is like a beach break that, you know, we thought we were just going to have small, casual Indo waves out like the little peak out the front, and then it turned out to be really hectic. But yeah, what a memory, huh? Like, so that's funny. I would have, because I do remember one of the wipeouts you had before the Teahupoo comp in 2003 was pretty gnarly in the morning. Is that right? You got kind of sliced up on the legs.
Yeah, that was my worst wipeout, like on an actual wave.
Okay, so that was your worst wipeout on an actual wave.
Yeah.
Right, because I did actually think that was up there as like, because that definitely nailed you that day. You kind of were out of sorts for that first day of competition.
I was totally rattled.
You were, weren't you? You was like, because it was only a 1 day comp, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Did we get it done
on that day? No, it was 2 days.
Did we do 2 days?
The second day, Tamagu hurt his knee.
Oh yeah.
And he got taken off an ambulance.
That's right.
The comp off.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the 2 first rounds of that, because that was the Shark Island format at the time.
Yeah.
You were just kind of rattled, like it got you in the morning.
Oh yeah, well I was in so much pain. Like I felt like, you know, a WWF wrestler had grabbed me from the top of a telephone pole and just thrown me at the cement, thrown me at the bitumen. So what happened? I was racing a barrel, the real west one that runs in a closeout, and I was going as fast as what I felt I've ever gone. Like just trying to outrun this thing, couldn't outrun it.
Right.
So then I went to bail through. I reckon if it was a right, I would have got through, because on my rights I'm so much more practiced at
getting out the back.
You know, throwing the board and just diving.
Yeah.
You know, my body's so much more trained to physically dive out of a heavy barrel, like at North Point, up to 10 foot sort of thing. But because it's the left, I'm not quite that practice. Like I reckon Stuart would have got through, because he's got so much practice doing that big pipe. Yeah. But yeah, I went to dive through, didn't penetrate enough, slowly got sucked up and over, just enough time to think about, this could be bad. But literally, like, I thought, okay, I'm gonna like hit water and go get pushed down for a little bit, but literally like just felt all the force, like the weightlessness going down, and then just bang into the reef, like before I even thought I was going to hit it. And it was like,
so this was on the first bounce?
Yeah, first bounce.
That's pretty gnarly. I reckon second bounce are most of my experiences. Like, it's been rare that I've had a first bounce in a wipeout where I'm hitting bottom on the first bounce.
Yeah, it was scary.
Yeah.
It's like, I thought if that was my head, I'd be dead for sure. Because I was just like, so I sort of luckily landed on my side, so my side of my hip and my arse and all my foot kind of hit the hardest.
Yeah.
And then I just got a little bit rolled on it, but that initial hit was just so hard. And I was like, I'm scared to look after this. Like, I thought this could really split me open bad. But just fortunately it was just kind of mostly bruising. So I suppose it must have been hard rock, not too sharp.
Yeah.
And
But it really slowed you down, didn't it? It really
I was just in pain. I was just rattled,
pain.
like, I can't, how can I even move my leg here?
Yeah.
And it was a hero to zero moment because the year before I'd won the 2000 skins.
Yeah, exactly.
Left on a high, like had the spin in the barrel. That was my last wave of the comp, and then the next day
back.
had a pumping free surf and ended it with a real confident, like big free fall on the west one. Yeah, sure enough, next year, just overconfident. Here we go, I'll take off in this closeout and make it.
I remember you taking off on it because I was out that morning, free surfing, and I do remember you taking the wave. And, it's one of those typical things from behind, that wave looked really tame. Like it looked, like you don't see how gnarly the West Poles are when you're sitting out the back and someone takes off. You kind of just go, all right, he's on the wave, all good. But when the big spit came out and then you didn't come out hooting and hollering, no one was cheering. It's like, ooh, what happened there?
It wasn't that big though.
No, it wasn't a huge morning
maybe
yet.
Not even 8 foot. But
Exactly.
It was just really west, strong swell, and probably even worse, it was a little bit smaller because it was further in on the reef where it wrapped. So
I think that's the other bit people don't realise about Teahupoo, and something that I learnt, certainly experienced really well on a trip earlier than that. I think it might have been 2002, and I went over there on a strike mission with Stews and Matt Widdar, Ben Holland and Tyson Williams. And we went over there and we were out there, and it was the week or like just only days before the WCT at the time comp at Teahupoo, so it was packed with every surfer you could think could be in a lineup. Like it was the dumbest time to be a bodyboarder out at any lineup ever, but we were there to try and make the most of that swell. And it was kind of that in-between size, so it was kind of like 6 to 8 feet and breaking closer in. But then there was a moment, and like people may not realise, but Teahupoo breaks closer in on a separate bit of reef when it's smaller, and then whereas Fronton seems to kind of always break in the same spot regardless. But it and I remember so clearly that like we're all sitting out there, like all these top pro surfers are there, and this massive wave just like, you paddle over the 6 footer and then you look up and the whole reef is like, it's already breaking up the reef, and you're just like, people are just scrambling. And I remember, I think Widdar was paddling with me, I think, and Tyson, we didn't know where Tyson was in the lineup at the time, but he was a bit deeper. And what happened was he must have been a touch wider. So we're paddling our brains out, and when the fear and the adrenaline's so high that you can hear your pulse in your body.
Yeah, well, things slow down. And become more acutely aware of your senses.
Yeah. And I could just hear, I could hear the heartbeat through my body. Like I was just like, like in my ears, in the bones of my ears and stuff. And I'm just like paddling, and then duck diving and just, looking up and just seeing the lip just above my head and stuff, and getting through it, and then thinking, this is pretty dangerous too, to be like, you're not safe even once you duck dive at Teahupoo, you can
what did that feel like? So it's obviously like a 10-foot minimum wave.
Yeah, it was a 10-footer, thick as hell.
So you to be duck diving just under the lip, it's probably thrown 20 foot towards where you were.
The scare. There's only one other moment that's been similar, and that was in Pipeline like 3 years ago, and similar kind of thing, just looking up at a north swell wave freak set just coming through, like, I might die here. This was similar, but the funny thing was that's the wave that Tyson just swung around on.
Okay.
And just gunned it. And then he got the cover shot of Riptide, I think it was, and Stews was swimming and got it like I think Stews got like a fisheye shot of like a massive Teahupoo wave, and Tyson's just locking into it.
Yeah.
And then all of these pro surfers, like half the lineup, just lost their boards, smashed to pieces because people just bailing and just like, it really thinned out the crowd for a second. But it was just like that reminder of like, these smaller waves and then the bigger waves out of Teahupoo, there are distinct reefs that this breaks on, and it's just like, it's such a gnarly place. Like, was that your last trip there, or for that comp?
2001?
No, 2003 when Kingy won it, or did you go since?
Our boat trip was, I think, the year.
Was that after or before though?
Before, yeah.
That was before.
Yep.
So that was your last trip there?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you miss it? Do you think about it often? Like,
Oh yeah, I think about it heaps. I think about, like, there's a lot similar with a lot of places I go to nowadays, is how much more I look at other things besides the surf and the people and my equipment and the actual bodyboard culture. I really look at the landscape and the colours and the vibe of the people and the whole experience. I guess my mind's so much more open and broadened as I've gotten older.
Yeah.
And I look forward as much to visiting places for that aspect, as well as just the surfing, the feeling of the waves and the excitement of the sport and who's going to be there. And stuff like that.
Well, that's a funny thing, because that's definitely an experience I've had since going back to a few familiar stomping grounds, bodyboarding again, like particularly Hawaii, being able to go there and like re-experience it and really soak it up much better than what I ever did. Like, I don't know, maybe it definitely has something to do with old age and experience, I know for me, like back in like the early 2000s, chasing dreams and trying to compete against all you blokes, it was very competitive and very focused and very just like, I need to get that one wave at pipe, I need to get that photo, I need to get this.
It's like it's a tunnel vision,
when
you're younger.
It sucks.
You're very focused on what you're there for and what you're doing. And it just sort of narrows your perspective.
It's a real shame though, isn't it, that we do get that, because like a lot of people haven't been lucky enough, I guess, maybe like you and I, and to be able to revisit places and re-experience them. Like some people, that is their only experience of that place. Like,
that's right.
I know guys that still, like, their Hawaiian experiences have just been about that same experience that I originally had. Yeah. And it's pretty lame. Like, it's not that much fun. It's like
it's kind of
stressful and
it's crowded. There's pressure for you to perform and fulfill like sponsor obligations to get photos, get videos, and then you've got to compete against your friends, which makes it awkward atmosphere. You've got to stay together.
Exactly.
So you've revisited Hawaii in recent years?
Yeah. Like I've had the good fortune to really like reinterpret it a bit, and even to the extent that like last year, instead of kind of staying on the North Shore, like on the stretch there, because you'd probably agree, most bodyboarders end up just focusing their time, or they used to just focus their time on pipe, backdoor off the wall, and then maybe some Keiki shore break to get you, a few photos under your belt, but like that was it, really. And then I actually stayed last time I was there in Haleiwa in the town, and like way back, hired a car, and none of us hired cars back then, did we? Like, that was like never happening.
I remember a funny story on a bike with your brother. Do you remember that one?
No, what's that one?
All right, so
tell it.
We're all living on that pipe to Keiki stretch. Everyone's riding bikes around. It's a fun time. Up to 60 Aussies. Staying at the North
Shore. The locals loved it.
So there's no reason to be poking boards at us or telling us to get our passports and get the fuck out of
Exactly.
But following a pipe check, I think I was riding back to my house in Keiki, and your brother Dan Kirkman had his big happy face riding the other way, and we've kind of put a leg out towards each other, sort of for like a little foot tap.
Oh, to go for a foot tap.
Go for a foot tap. And his foot has gone in my front wheel spokes. So we're still travelling at a slow speed, thinking we'll do a foot tap and then have a chat.
Oh my God.
So his foot's gone in my front spoke, and not going fast enough that it's going to decapitate his foot, but fast enough that it stopped my bike, and I've done a front flip over the handlebars onto my back. And then he stopped and looked around, and he's kind of like at first, oh shit, are you alright? And I was fine because I wasn't going too fast, and made a nice cat leap and landed on my back. And then we were just pissing ourselves laughing, and someone else was there. It's just like,
pretty
funny
good.
Hawaiian bike.
That's pretty good.
Bike rider, mate.
I was like, I don't remember him breaking his foot in Hawaii. It was you that nearly broke your back. That's cool. Yeah, he must have felt great about that.
I bet.
But I mean, it's been a good place to revisit, because like even like there's so many other waves too. Like I've just learned that like you've got your pipe, off the wall and backdoor stuff, and like that's obviously where the real action does take place. But you know, geez, there's a whole stretch of like little passes and reefs that, you know, like nobody's really filming there, but they're surfable spots, and there's some sick waves along there. Like if you just want to go and have fun and get some fun waves, like Hawaii's got a lot to offer. It's got way more to offer than what I think people realise.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoy the place now.
It's so consistent and warm, and it's like one of the most historically rich places for bodyboarding.
100%.
Yeah, I'd love to. I know I'll revisit it in coming years. Like it's one
so good with the
place
kids too. Like
yeah,
like having kids, I reckon it looks like a great spot to be. Like I got friends that live there full time now, and like they got young kids, and they're just having a ball. You know, like it's a really good place, and you know, and I even the last trip I was there, I got to get a good session at Sandy Beach at like Half Point. And, you know, that was kind of special to be out at that wave. Like that was pretty fun. Like Pat Caldwell paddled out, and I'm like, sick. I'm out at like Half Point Sandy Beach with Pat Caldwell. I'm like, this is really
and let's
fucking
touch
cool.
on the history there that he actually invented the roll at that.
Exactly. That was where it was being spun out there. Like so, it was super cool. And I think at the time, like Tanner and I went for a little bit of a strike mission there because I think the wind and the swell, it was a massive maybe it's like a north swell, so it was kind of enough swell to get into Sandy's on that lower east side, and it was sick. It was a sick little, pretty gnarly wave actually. Have you surfed that Half Point?
Yeah, it is.
It can get you. It's, they call it sashimi rock, that last bit there. So it's like, but like really good experience, and you know, and then the other place that was really special that I think I'm not sure if you've been there, but Teahupoo.
Yep, I've been there.
Man, like that is like history right there. Like that's such a cool spot. Like I think that's one of the coolest beaches, one of the most beautiful beaches I think I've seen. Just with that island off the background.
It's really like volcanic rock.
Exactly.
Really clear water, palm trees.
And that's where I did the podcast interview with Kainoa. And, you know, cool. He was lifeguarding there, and then we're just sitting there together at this really historic place. And so Hawaii's got a lot to offer, and it's just funny to see just how few Aussies are there now bodyboarding. Like it's really empty. Yeah. Like there used to be 60, 70 of us there at that early 2000 time. Yeah. And now it's just like, it's really different. But it's kind of cool, but also just weird. Like, kind of gnarly. But on this topic of kind of like surf spots and memories and whatnot, like, is there a spot above, like, we kind of referenced Tahiti, we referenced Hawaii, but is there a spot for you that's like the most special, or like a place that you feel like you visited and you really would love to revisit it and reinterpret it, and you haven't been there yet? Like, where's that? Yeah,
my mind just went straight to Mexico.
Mexico?
Yeah,
okay, all right. Why is that?
I just love that place. Like, it's just warm, offshore just about every day.
Yeah.
It's really consistent, really pumping waves, basically like pipe that can handle up to 12 foot, 15 foot paddling.
Totally.
And I just love that culture. It's really colourful place. It's always kind of sunny.
Yeah.
And just the whole setup of the place where you stay in front of, which is in front of the best peaks on the beach. There's like really nice hotels which aren't that expensive, nice Mexican restaurants.
Yeah.
You know, there's nightlife there if that tickles your fancy. Other travelling people. Just seemed like a nice vibe.
It is a good vibe, eh?
Yeah, definitely. And
lots of travellers. I think that's a nice little aspect of it too. Like, it's not just like the North Shore of Hawaii where you're just surrounded by bodyboarders and surfers all trying to make a point or prove something. It's like there's backpackers just cruising through Porto Escondido who are just there for a great time.
Yeah. And the fact it's sand, so you know, it's basically like pipe on sand when it's big, and so it just has a bit extra as far as a forgiving factor. Right? You don't have this volcanic rock underneath you. People haven't died from hitting the rock there. Yeah. But it's it's basically nearly as powerful, and you can really like push your ride in there and have a sick time.
Yeah. No, it's definitely somewhere. I mean, I'm assuming that the last time you might have visited there was when the IVA tour went there back in the day.
Yep, the last time. Yeah.
You got a second there, didn't you?
Yeah.
What happened in that final? Why didn't you win?
A couple of factors. I know. I had a really good semi with Lawlands.
Yeah.
The waves were still pumping. It was offshore. The waves are bombing through. There's a wave that's on YouTube on the IBA clip, that like a massive left that I pull into a place.
Yeah.
That was cool, mate. So that wave, I had to paddle my absolute ass off to get just to the spot where I had to take off.
Yeah.
So like just demanded all my fitness to try and ride that wave, and I got absolutely smoked.
Yeah.
Even though it looks on video like I might have made it.
Yeah, right.
But so and then my leash is stretched, and I had to get the ski back out, and I still had to get a good wave to be able to
get past Rawlins
in the end.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
So I felt like, and then the feeling of getting through that heat against a good mate like Rawlins, pushing it in big pump in Mexico, which is basically my favourite place in the world. Like, I was so buzzing after that heat.
Yeah.
And so pumped up. And then we went to the final, and it went a bit cross-shore on shore.
Yeah.
So the barrel factor went away. Not that deterred my determination, but
it's a disadvantage when you got Jeff Hubbard in the final, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
You're gonna have to change your strategy.
Yeah. So the strategy had to change basically to try and find air moves.
Yeah.
And Jeff's obviously like just all over it when it comes to that. So he's just beacon, especially once something went a little bit cross shore. He's like, I know it's time for airs, and he just found the better ramps and performed as he does, and took the win home. So I felt like I probably need to switch focus a little more and be on the hunt for ramps. But sometimes it is up to a little bit of luck as far as where you place yourself in the lineup, and if the waves that you need come your way, and then you surf them to your potential. And that went Jeff's way that final.
No, but it's a good place. Like you've got the Bali bodyboarding stuff. So when does that kick off again? That's pretty soon, right?
Yeah, it kicks off first week of March.
Yeah, right. So it's like real soon.
Yeah.
You're pretty kind of stacked up over the months after that. Like, do you have a bit of a plan on a revisit tour of some of these places? Like, if you are, pretty keen on Mexico, like, you have like an idea of the future there, like next 5 years, you reckon, or?
Yeah, well, it's the kind of thing in my mind where I'd love to. I'd love to go back to Mexico. I'd love to go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
I'd love to go to Tahiti. Yeah, all these places, but my family time is my priority. So especially this year, I'm going to be in Bali quite a lot without the family, doing fly in, fly out trips from New South Wales.
FIFO worker
up to Bali, which is not too bad a thing. I feel pretty blessed having that as a FIFO job. And so when I'm only home for 3 or 4 weeks, I'd only see myself travelling for a day or two at a time, if that.
Yeah.
And I've got other things I'm focused on in that time between Bali camps. So I probably don't see myself travelling too much this year.
Yeah.
But I kind of more see possible family trips to these spots in the years to come.
I reckon.
Where I can tie in a wave but still be with my family and experiencing the world with the kids and with my wife.
Well, I think Amori just did a really good example of that with one of his. Last year he was on a really good trip. It seemed like mixing in coaching and family and surfing, and he was just scoring everywhere.
Yeah.
Like Costa Rica, and he went to Porto, and it seemed to really work out well for him.
Yeah, I like that idea. Thanks for planting the seed.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's awesome that mission that Moss is on. Where he's just travelling around and doing camps, and now he's doing like online videos with his methods of coaching.
How serious is he, eh?
Yeah.
Is this like the coaching wars? Is there is this a battle?
No, not at all. It doesn't feel like it. It's so different to when we're competing.
Yeah.
And it's just your personal glory and triumphs and contest. This is more, this is for the sport, for the younger generations, for anyone in bodyboarding to have the opportunity to do a camp or to have access to coaching and become more stoked on your experience in the water. That's what it's all about. So I'm just like, I'm supporting him with sponsorship. I'm saying this is amazing. Every time he makes a little clip, I go, oh man, keep going. This is so sick.
He's a great ambassador.
Yeah.
He does such a good job. It's funny, this coaching discussion. I mean, the context of this drive right now into the storm that's now happening, which is probably fucking up all the audio, but that's all right. We're going to do a coaching clinic tomorrow. Hopefully the weather allows us to do that. Hopefully the East Coast low that's just churning swell out everywhere is going to let us do it. I interviewed John Cruikshank today, which I mentioned already, and we had a really big chat about the importance of coaching, and like that's his kind of theory about how we actually grow the sport properly from the base.
Yep.
Like when we spoke about what you're doing with the coaching in the last kind of podcast we recorded,
yep.
you know, there was a lot about there, like about you wanting to give something. Like there was a lot about that. Like this was important to you to maybe, whether you want to call it give or transfer knowledge or, you know, provide some stoke.
All of the above.
All of the above.
Yeah.
How do you see it like John does? That it's this missing piece of our puzzle that we haven't prioritised for way too long?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I just see it as a huge piece of the puzzle. Like I remember back in '93 when I was an early teenager, and Mike Stewart went around Australia and internationally as well, but definitely in Australia. He did coaching clinics with the Moray team, the board company team that he was on at the time. Yeah. And that just attracted so many people, which gave them so much stoke and froth for the sport. And you know, any time that especially young people, can connect with a role model or someone that's famous or someone that's, you know, just puts off this vibe of like how much they love the sport and they're at an elite level. Like that just amps up young people so much. And for sure, it can make such a positive impact and really attract a lot of kids and get involved in this sick thing, which makes them stoked on life.
Why do you think we just kind of? How did we trick ourselves into thinking it didn't matter for so long?
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? I think it just went through a period where, you know, even the senior riders like you know, Stewart and Tamaga and stuff like that were still of an age that they were, you know, very focused on competition and very focused on, you know, there was a huge focus. Yeah, it was with Tom Wilson as well. Who recently passed away and was a legend of the sport as far as having foresight and vision of what would make the sport epic and showcase
competitively epic,
and attract the best riders in the world.
And he had very much achieved that. He really did.
So I guess at that point there was a lot of young people already in the sport. It kind of seemed like it seemed like coaching it wasn't really an important piece of the puzzle at that point. It seemed like the more important piece was the piece at the top of the triangle, the piece at the top of the pyramid, which was the pinnacle of the sport being what it was seen as from the public eye.
From the mainstream eye, that was that push, right?
And so Tom's vision which was shared by Stewart and some of the top guys, was to take the sport into extreme waves, into waves of consequence, like Pipe, Shark Island, stuff like that. So you know, guys like Mike and Galumi were involved on the committees to make all that happen. So you know, it just seemed like all the top guys and especially the senior guys' energy was going towards making this tour happen. And it just seemed like, but you know, whereas nowadays in the last decade, where you know, the world tour after the IBA sort of went into a bit of disarray, I guess you could say.
That's a nice way to put it.
And just seeing a bit of a like loss of numbers in the youth side, and also guys in their 20s dropping out of it because opportunity was falling out. And so it's sort of brought it to the stage where it's like, you know, it's not really much of a career option as far as the industry pie, the amount of money available to sponsor people and the amount of money that brands are making isn't that big at the moment. And so it's brought everyone back to basically the basics of the reason why they're doing it in the first place. You know, it's just a lifestyle thing, and it still has the option of competition and career. But like Johnny's saying, the building up at the base as far as bringing people into the sport, especially young people, and bringing people back to the sport, like the VBC movement, the vintage guys come back.
I think that's a really interesting play. For sure, like to get people involved, like that's definitely something special.
It's just like, okay, well, this sport's just kind of just been thrown and ripped around. And now it's arrived at this place, and it's so important that it strengthens at its foundation now, which is coaching, which is clubs, which is setting the sport up to connect people and just strengthen its heart, really. Like the reason why people do it, people of all ages, and sort of creating a strong foundation to then build up to a pathway where people can possibly pursue it professionally.
Yeah, and I mean, on a personal level for you, like, what was the catalyst for you getting into the coaching originally? What's that story?
Yeah, well, basically, I was flying high on a 4-year contract with Billabong and Versus, where I was earning over 100,000 a year. Me and Roland's on a good old wicket. Yeah, your eyeballs.
I had my estimates. About that.
You call those the glory years.
The glory years, yeah.
And, so that was basically 2007 to 2011, or maybe 2008 to 2012.
Yeah.
And this was money basically coming from Billabong, a massive surf company, and money coming from Versus, which had a private investor at the time who saw value in the sport and saw value in the brand, and pumping money into me and Rollins and Pierre, and pumping money into these riders, trying to pump the sport up to attract more sales, basically. And post GFC, because we were sponsored through the GFC period, and by the end of that period, where shit had really hit the fan and a lot of people had taken financial knocks, and so kind of pretty much overnight my income halved. When I lost Billabong, and then the Versus money just wasn't there anymore, and so I had to go shopping around different bodyboard brands, trying to just see where I could get the best deal, and then thankfully the guys at Function supported me at that time, and that was a real saviour. If I'd had no board money at that stage, I had house mortgage and loans, I would have really been on my ass. But the guys at Function came gave me an opportunity, so basically my income was halved or less, and so that sent me packing shelves at Woolies for night fuel and working with my brother overnight. I became this
But it's good that you had the ability to muck in and get on with it. I think that's an important character trait.
I had kids at the time too, so any dads would relate that when you've got kids and a mortgage, you've got mouths to feed. Your motivation to make money, that just becomes real high priority.
Great.
And so I think it was already. No, it must have been that year actually that I started with Function. That was when I'd had the idea I think coaching is something I want to pursue.
Okay.
Not many other people. I think Hayden Bunting had been doing it on the Central Coast. The Boogie Man.
The Boogie Man.
He was doing some cool things, taking some young guys on trips down the coast mostly, and then that was really positive. And he's like a friend and an idol of mine from since I was young. I've always looked up to him as a rider and the way he went about things, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And I started also getting work, or there was potential to work as a surf coach in surf schools. It's been quite lucrative through that period, through the noughties and 2010 onwards.
So you were teaching surfing?
As it's been over the last decade, you have to get a level 1 surf coaching course to become a stand-up surf coach. Yeah. And that was how you could then go on to become a bodyboard coach and get insurance for your school and stuff like that. Yeah. So that was it.
So it was a bit of financial, serious financial pressure, coupled with a bit of inspiration from a person you used to look up to, or probably still look up to and admire. And the rest is kind of history. When did the Bali bodyboarding bit come into the picture? Was that's maybe a little bit later?
That was just a year later, or maybe not even a year later. So I had the idea come along. Went and did a few of my courses. I did the level 1 surf coaching course. I did surf rescue, first aid. So I had it all happening. And then when I went up to holiday in Bali with my wife Leah, I met. It was a small world story that one of my wife's best friends, her husband was best mates with Aiden, who's Bali bodyboarding. That's a long connection there. But anyway, met up with Aiden over in Bali while he was doing some coaching, because he's already had his school going for a few years.
Yeah.
And so we'd made contact, and he knew that I was getting my hours up for my coaching. Like, you have to log a certain amount of hours.
Yeah.
So he invited me to come along and do a coach with a guy, and we just hit it off, and I was just loving it. I was getting so amped and so stoked, and so much reward from being in the water with a bodyboarder, and it came so naturally to just be in the water and get them stoked and give whatever tips they needed.
Yeah.
And then me and Aiden had a chat afterwards, and it was sort of his brainchild that we could spend time in Bali together.
Yeah.
And do these camps where people could come and stay in a villa, and we'd take them surfing for a week and coaching.
Epic.
And Leah and I, since we honeymooned in Bali in 2004, had the dream that we wanted to live in Bali. So it kind of all came together. And 7 years later, it's going strong.
It's like it's grown quite dramatically, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Because it's a good chunk of the year that you're doing stuff. So it's early March until September?
Yeah, early March till October, which is like 7 months now. And then in the beginning it was only 3 months, and some camps be kind of half full. And it's interesting that in the beginning it was more overseas people, like clients that Aiden had coached with previously. And then as the years went on, and especially as the vintage culture started, and older guys of my age started getting back into it, and saw that as a week's holiday away from work or away from the family, or bring the family over and spend time in Bali, and just really, those guys have really had a good time, and sort of went from there.
Epic. Well, I mean, we're kind of halfway through the trip. We're not going to do a 2-hour podcast. We've got another hour to go. We're just cruising past Bulladila, and we're on our way to Foster Curry. And the plan is we're going to, hopefully, weather permitting and all many factors permitting, we're going to be able to get some kids in the water tomorrow with myself and Millie Chalker supporting Coach Hardballs here. I didn't tell you, but we've actually got a school visit in the morning too. We're going to go to a school, have a bit of a yarn. I'm going to finish a little PowerPoint presentation tonight, which should be fun.
Yep.
And well, thanks. I really appreciate you coming down. I guess I've learned in this podcast that your venturing away from the wife and kids is limited, so I feel very privileged to get you for 2 days, and hopefully we'll be able to get some good work done in the next 2 days.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'd quickly like to plant the seed on the coaching topic that this year I'm going to be working closely with Surfing Australia, developing a bodyboard coaching course, because that's a real dream of mine that I'm going to spend a lot of time on this year, is creating a bodyboard coaching course to offer to clubs and to guys around Australia, potentially internationally as well, like create a model which will invite people to become qualified as a bodyboard coach with a real in-depth coverage of knowledge, and I just feel like I just want there to be no filter, So I want all of my knowledge and everything that I have in my head, to just
put into a book,
put it out there, and get people on the road to their own journeys of coaching, because it's definitely been like one of the most rewarding things that I've done in my career. Definitely, like getting in the water with people, giving back, getting that stoke, and I just feel like I'm leaving my legacy behind that way. I'm leaving behind my footprint on this sport that's given me everything.
Well, it's also a legitimate business too.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
Like, I mean, apart from all the nice stuff, it's actually a legit way to make money.
Totally. Yeah. Spot on. Just since the camps became 6 months, like that has been my main income to support my family for the last 5-6 years. So
I think that's an important point, because like I know that like back in the days, look at the flooding. Wow, there's been a lot of that's rain. Usually like half the width. When I was like in my early 20s and like competing and whatnot, I was even coaching a couple of local kids, like, because their parents wanted them to learn from me in Foster, and like they wanted to, like, they paid me money, and I was just like, wow, that's weird. It's like a weird, it's such a weird experience, I think, when you turn a passion into a way to earn money. Like here's my time, I'm doing something I love, and you do get such a kick out of seeing someone progress on a board, and seeing them actually like adjust a small thing you tell them about, and then they go better, and you see them get happier, and it's this really positive cycle. But in addition to that, it's like a legit way to make money. So that's really cool. What's the timeline on the Surfing Australia?
Sort of the goal is sort of by the end of the year
have it finished,
have it available.
Wow.
And just really have it openly available, so that anyone that has a slight interest in pursuing it will know where to go, what to do, what qualifications to get, how much it's going to cost, who they're going to need to get assessed by in their state, in the area, by their club. So it's really like a thing that will connect clubs around Australia, and that really needs to happen to solidify that foundation of the sport. Yeah.
Johnny Cruikshank's words right there, like he said exactly the same thing an hour and a half ago, so he'll be very happy to listen to this podcast. Big shout out to him. Alright, cool. I'm going to switch off. We're just going to cruise and talk about heaps of other stuff, bitch about people for the rest of the drive. Alright, who's first? Okay, Damien King.